Hi. Well, I am totally gobsmacked. I've always wanted to use that word. I don't even know if I'm using it correctly. But today I took possession of a new tool, kind of expensive tool, but well worth it. I've been reading up on it um, in my quest for learning how to use a plane, uh, how to joint violin edges, how to sharpen a plane, and all that whole adventure. But in jointing edges, and also later when I need to flatten the side of the plate, this will definitely come in handy and help me do a much better job. What I purchased, and it was partly based on, I saw that's what Lucas Fabro uses when he does his violins and his cellos. And I tend to trust his judgment in a lot of things and a lot of the methods that he uses. And so I decided, well, I did a lot of reading up on the internet about this plane. Seems a lot of people don't use it, but Lucas does, and he has such good results. And so I decided to go ahead. YOLO, right? You only live once. And so I went and purchased a Lee Valley Veritas number 6. They call it a 4 plane, F-O-R-E, and that's because it's used for the beginning processes of woodworking before you go on to do smoothing and so on. And it's, oh man, it's heavy. It's probably, I think it's supposed to be about 18 inches. Let's see, one, yeah. My Lie-Nielsen, well, let's put it, well, I don't have it out, is 14 inches, and this one is 18. It is much heavier, but what makes it easy for me to handle, despite the weight, is the fact that the handle, I don't know what you call it, the tote or whatever, is more towards the center of the plane. And so it's better for more towards the center of gravity or whatever. And so it helps. If it were out further, for example, this is the low angle, Stanley low angle. See how far the tote is? Almost to the back end of the plane. That's why, I tended to, it's front heavy. And so it's harder for me to handle. Whereas this, with the handle being more centralized, it feels more balanced. Plus, I don't know how much, I should look up the weight, but it's wider. It's about 3-inch wide versus the 2.5-inch wide measurement of the Sweetheart plane. So everything's bigger. It's 18 inches long, 3 inches wide. But, and another difference is it is a bevel down plane versus bevel up plane, which is what the low angle planes are. It's constructed kind of differently, but what I like about it especially is, number one, I had read that Veritas planes come ready to use right out of the box. The only thing you have to do is to loosen the screw that holds the, I forget what they call it, the cap that holds everything down, one full turn, because for shipment, they tighten it super tight, just so nothing will move during shipment. But they have a little note in the package that says loosen it one turn before you actually use it. And so I was going to test to see whether it is indeed ready to go right out of the box. It's sharpened, it's set up, except for that one screw which you have to loosen. And by golly, sure enough. And then what I like about it, the second thing I liked about it was the fact that you don't have to go fiddling around with two knobs. On this one, you have to first, if you want to advance or retract the blade with this, you have to first loosen this knob and then retract or advance the blade and then tighten this knob up a little bit. So it's a kind of a two-step adjustment process. Whereas this one, I didn't quite know this from looking at videos, but it's only that one knob in there that you have to adjust. Once you've got everything adjusted otherwise, you only have to move this knob. You don't have to do another knob first to move the blade forward or retract it. Once these are all set right, which they were right out of the box. And the weight of it definitely makes it easier to plane. So it's not like you have to go carrying this around, so the weight doesn't really matter that much. But when it's on here, you know, you don't have to press down really. You just kind of let it ride along the wood. And by golly, let me show you. Okay, so I'm starting here. This is the same piece of wood I've been using. And I just set it behind the end of the edge, and I just go. Ooh, that's a good one. Let me show you that. See right there? That's the full width of the edge pretty much. And I measured it earlier, and it's even thinner than the other shaving. It was 0.06, 6/100ths of a millimeter thick. I could probably adjust it to make it, to move the blade a little bit forward. But I'd kind of rather have it be taking less of a shaving than too thick. So it's all in the motion. Oh gosh, that was a good one. You can tell because it feels good and it sounds good when you're doing a good smooth. You know, learning, oh, that was a good smooth stroke. See there? It's a little bit narrower than the edge, but yeah. So once I get more of a fluid motion in using the plane, I'll get better shavings. Just the weight of the plane blade itself is doing it. I'm not pressing down, really. See, look at that. Nice. I like it. And it's nice and smooth. So I think this will help me do even better, a better job. Everything is wonderful. You don't have to fiddle with, it's not an adjustable mouth. So basically you just adjust it by advancing the plane blade as far as you want. So you don't have to fiddle with an adjustable mouth, which these low angle ones tend to have. So it's just even simpler. Alrighty. So as my opening statement said, I am flabbergasted. I'm gobsmacked. I'm amazed. I'm happy. Okay, so long. That's it for now. Tomorrow, I think I might actually try to do the real plates, which I have here. Here's maple one that I'm going to be using for practice and later possibly for a real violin. Guarneri, Plowden style, which is not this outline. This outline comes when you buy the wood because they just want to check to see how, if it's large enough for a violin plate. But I'll be doing that maybe tomorrow. I don't even think I'm going to need to sharpen the blades. What people said definitely is true. It's ready to go right out of the box. I love it. And there are fewer knobs and adjustments to deal with. All you have to do is set it in there, and then this one knob does the adjusting of the blade, forward or backward. And that's it. Wow, I love it. It was well worth the purchase price. It was a bit expensive. It was about $400. But you know, sometimes you pay for good stuff, and it's worth it in the long run.